Thank you, Hatham, for explaining all the research we have done through the past months. Now, you might wonder, where are we now? Well, I'll be glad to tell you that we are on track with our timeline. From September to the early weeks of December, we finally conceptualized what our app was going to solve and how it was going to solve it. We thought it was incredibly important that we put as much thought and creativity into the conceptualization of our app that we spent a great deal of time on it. Now, as you can see, our tech-savvy Hatham even found a way to get his own ringtone into his laptop. That didn't work. Alright, let's restart that. And readjust it how it needs to be. 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Hatham, for explaining the conclusions that we have gathered at after months of research. Now, you might be wondering, where are we now? Well, I am more than happy to tell you that we are perfectly on time. You see, we spent the beginning of September all through November and the early weeks of December planning out what our app was going to do and how it was going to do it. You see, we needed to make sure that our problem was truly identifiable and that our solution could give the best efficient solve to this problem. Now, I don't want to repeat myself, but I want to say that we spent a lot of time into the conceptualization of this idea, which is why right now we are actually in our design phase. And by the end of January, we will finish our design phase and enter coding, which we plan to finish at the end of February, meaning that we will release our beta at the beginning or end of April. After about 2 months, we'll see the results of our beta. Whoa, I made a mistake there. Let me do that one more time. Three, two, one. Thank you, Hatham, for explaining the months of research that we undertook on gathering the information about the components that we would use to make our app. Now, you might be asking, where are we in the design of our app, in the creation of it? Well, we actually spent a lot of time from the beginning of September all through November and October and the first few weeks of December in conceptualizing our idea and app. Now, you might be wondering, why is this? Well, we think that it's extremely important that we think out and use as much creativity and brain power as we can to sort out all the little tiny bits about our app and make sure that we have a strong foundation before we start into design and coding. Speaking of design, that's where we are right now. And by the end of January, we will be done with design and enter coding, which we will finish by the end of February. Now, as we are done with our coding at the end of February, we will release our beta at the end of April. Now, our beta is to identify mistakes that we will then, with a test release, be able to improve upon in our predicted fixed raise.
Bugs.
bugs, which we will use to fix bugs. And our predicted official release will be around the start of school next year. Now, this process itself has been extremely an extremely beneficial experience to all of us in finding out who we are, what our limits are, and what we can do to break through those limits. Now, we have had many successes and failures. This isn't actually our first idea. Our first idea was to create an app that would allow for more smoother bus transportation in our county. But we soon realized that wasn't a problem that really needed a solution. And if interpreted in a certain way, wasn't even a problem.